There was a goat and his name was Garrett. Garrett was 8 years old. He lived at the petting zoo at Grant's farm in St. Louis. Garrett loved living at the petting zoo. He got to run around with all his other goat friends. He got to play with all the visitors that came to Grant's farm. Sometimes he even got treats from the kids like a bottle of milk. Garrett's favorite thing to do at the petting zoo was to drink a bottle of milk and then lay in the warm sun. He liked to be partly under a tree, so he was under some shade, then take an afternoon nap. One day, a new goat friend came to the petting zoo. His name was Ben. Ben was 7 years old and very nice. He told Garrett all about his travel here to St. Louis. Ben had traveled exactly 470 miles from a small town in Wisconsin. Ben described how fun it was to travel and sightsee along the way. Then Garrett asked Ben where he lived before. Had he come from another petting zoo? Garrett had received the most amazing information he had ever heard before. Ben had lived on a real farm before coming to the petting zoo at Grant's farm. Ben told Garrett how wonderful the farm was. Ben not only had other goat friends, but friends that were chickens, cows, pigs, and horses. Ben got to sleep wherever he wanted in his barn, instead of in a small pen like Garrett. Ben also got to be woken up by a rooster each morning, unlike the intercom speaker at the petting zoo like Garrett. Garrett had heard enough. He wanted to live on a real farm. He wanted to experience all of these great things that Ben had told him about. Garrett thought he would try to escape on his own and run away to a farm. The next morning, before the intercom woke up all the goats, Garrett snuck out the exit door of the petting zoo and ran out the secret exit of Grant's farm. He had made it! Garrett was free and in the wild. He ran and ran looking for a nice farm that he could stay at. Garrett looked all over but couldn't seem to find a perfect farm. Then Garrett found himself in a town he didn't recognize. Then Garrett was sadly picked up by a man in a truck and taken all the way back to Grant's farm. Garrett was sad that his journey was not a success. The next 2 weeks, Garrett went on living his normal petting zoo life, sleeping and drinking bottles of milk from the visitors. Garrett decided to accept his life at the petting zoo and was content. That day, all of a sudden, a nice-looking girl walked up to Garrett, picked him up, and took him to a truck. She told him he was being adopted by a local farmer nearby. Garrett was so excited and happy he almost cried. As Garrett was leaving the zoo to go to his new farm, Garrett looked out the window and saw his friend Ben. Garrett couldn't wait to live his new life on the farm just like Ben had.